Welcome back to the Lifestyle Lifters show. And today's guest is online fitness coach, fashion model, former Dancing with the Stars and Love Island contestant, the one and only Matthew McNabb. Matthew, welcome to the Lifestyle Lifters show.
Thanks for having me, Adrian. Yeah, it's good to be chatting to you here.
Absolutely. So Matthew and I connected at Sean Casey. He did a bit of a business event there just before Christmas in 22. And it was good connecting with you, Matthew. And we got to know each other a bit more. But tell me, Matthew, before I get you to share your backstory, share something about yourself that most people do not know.
Oh, geez. I don't know. I feel like I'm a pretty public person, like so. Um. Oh, that's such a good question, which I don't know the answer to. What do people not know about me? I was massive into tractors when I was 6 years old. That's probably not the answer you wanted.
Wow, man. I wouldn't have actually guessed that by looking at you. And I mean that in a good, not there's anything wrong with being into tractors, but yeah, interesting. Interesting. And tell me so, Matthew, share it about yourself, about your backstory, about what you currently do and what interests you.
Yeah, so I've got a pretty varied backstory. Basically, from a career standpoint, I was in school, didn't know what I wanted to do. My mum said, "You've got the grades, go do law." So I did law in uni, and then I didn't really enjoy it, but I was like, I had no real interest in it, I would say. But the first 2 years didn't count towards your degree, as most people did. So I just partied and stuff and was lifting throughout there. I've been lifting since I was like 15 because I was super, super skinny, like incredibly skinny. So I wanted to like pick up girls and stuff at that stage. So
The
I just
reason
kept
we all start, whether we admit it or not.
yeah, pretty much. Like so I did all that, went through and yeah, did law, and then I love traveling, so I moved to San Diego. Um, I did a master's before that as well, but
So you got your degree in law and then you went on and did a master's and then traveled to San Diego.
yeah, I'm trying to fast forward a lot through here. There's a lot in between there. I worked in investment banking, and basically, I had no clue what I wanted to do, and so I did law, graduated from that, got a good 2-1 out of it, and
Nice.
I had no clue what I wanted to do. Watched The Wolf of Wall Street, and I was like, yes, I'm doing investment banking. So trying to invest to get into that. Did get into was in an operational role in City in Belfast. Absolutely hated it. Worst year of my life, like. And at that point, I was kind of like, you know what, I should really figure out what I want to do here, because if I have to do that for every day for the rest of my life, or every
Hmm.
weekday for the rest of my life, I probably won't last long. Like, so I that was my whole mission for like 6 months after that. I literally tried every temporary job there was, just experience and just tried
Yeah.
different things. I got in and was working in a solicitor's firm. I was working in like a renewable energy firm. I was working everywhere. So I got a very varied background. But what I found is I love startups. I love business. I love helping people and helping solutions, create solutions and stuff. So meanwhile, all the fitness stuff is all in the background. I'm doing that every day since I've been 15, still am. So I always had that passion and stuff, but my overall thing was self-improvement. And so whatever that's my mind changed to really, that was what I delved into. And so I went and did a master's, an MBA of business administration, and then I moved to San Diego. Was working for a startup out there, a really innovative startup. The my boss was worth like 30 million, and so I
Wow.
was 1-to-1 with him, like, and I learned so much. Had the best like nearly 2 years of my life out there, unbelievable. And then I came home because COVID, the visa office was closed, so I didn't want to, I couldn't renew, so I had to go home.
Extend your
Came
stay, yeah.
home, and yeah, then ITV casting studios wrote to me on Instagram, and then that's when I got onto Love Island, and yeah, Love Island. Then like a couple of months after that, did Dancing with the Stars, and then just trying to sort out my path since then.
Yeah. Oh my God. Wow. A lot to unpack there, Matthew. Tell me, so you obviously you did the 4-year degree, you got your master's too. Was there, and were you ever scared the fact that you invested 4 or 5 years of your time into this and then you wanted to pursue a career completely different? Was that something that you felt down about, or were you just happy that at least you figured out at the time that this wasn't something you wanted to do long term?
Yeah, no, during it, I absolutely hated my life. Like, to be fair, now that's where I felt like I learned a lot that year. Probably the most I've ever learned was through that year, because I absolutely hated my life, and I was like, I'm gonna have to do something about this. Like, and to be honest, it was a terrible, like, it was just a workplace culture. Everything was so negative, and I was like, geez, I would rather like be broke in Thailand, like spending like 20p per day on food, than live this life, because this is awful. Like.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was kind of the mindset behind that. And it kind of, I didn't have the intention that I wanted to, like, you know, um, become a better person. I just want to figure out how to direct my life. So you obviously get a bit pissed off during it, and you're kind of like in a crappy place, but then you kind of get a little indication here, a little indication there, and you kind of build from there, you know.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. And tell me then, when you moved to San Diego, was that a scary move for you? The fact you were given a contract, going to a different country, or did you just embrace that challenge?
No, no, that wasn't scary for me. I was living my best life. I was like, I cannot wait to get out there. I was not afraid whatsoever. I don't know. I feel like I did a lot of traveling. Like, I did when I was 19. I did a good summer in San Francisco and stuff. So I kind of
Yeah.
understood what it felt like to be far away from home and just relying on yourself and stuff. And I had matured quite a lot since that point. So I was like, I'd been to San Diego like on a road trip once, and I was like, I love this place. So I
Yes.
was excited to get out there, and basically just like I started new. So when I was out there, I was like, I'm my number one rule is I'm not gonna go to the Irish bar. I'm not gonna go to any of the Irish sort of events. The reason behind that is because I wanted to go and have a full experience, because a lot of people that go away, they'll go and they'll just go straight to the Irish bar, meet
Yes.
they go to the Gaelic club, and they'll just make friends with Irish friends. So you'll have people from Donegal, you're about in San Diego or somewhere, and you just be doing the same things as you do at home, really. So I said I want to meet
Yeah.
a load of people from new cultures, like Americans, like, you know, the whole shebang, like, and that's what I did. So I've got some of my best friends in the world are out there, because I took
Wow.
that conscious decision to just avoid, not take the easy route, and go and put myself out in my comfort zone and just like chat to everybody and just be like, you know, like, I had no friends, so I was like, I'm gonna have to make friends here. So I literally, you know, I just talked to strangers, like, and that's how that worked. And then like I met one of my best friends in a sandwich shop after a night out, and that he brought me, we were like, let's go to the gym like next week or whatever. He brought me to the gym, and then he introduced me to different friends, and then I met different people, went to different parties, did all that. So yeah.
You just put yourself out there, man. Wow. Wow. And then so when you had to return home with COVID and then Love Island, speaking of putting yourself out there, how was your experience with that?
Yeah, well, actually, just to click on your point there, putting yourself out there, that was the big learning point from San Diego, the entire experience. I made it my goal to do something that I felt was really uncomfortable to me, like every year or as much as possible. I say this now, I do one thing every year that scares me. So when I was
Yes.
in San Diego, the one thing that terrified me was heights. So I started off by doing like a 10-foot cliff jump, and out and thing. And 10 foot is not a lot. I'm basically 10 foot, fuck's sake. and, so I jumped off that, and I was absolutely shitting myself. I was terrified. And so I did that, and then I got a whole endorphins, everything. I felt
Yeah.
amazing. And then I decided to take it one step further and did like a 50-foot cliff
Wow.
jump. And yeah, that was terrifying. But I just did that easier than the 10-foot one, which is funny. And then after the 50-foot one, I was like, all right, I'm going to do a skydive. So I did a skydive. And I swear to God, I did a skydive and I was chilling. I literally just jumped out of the plane and I was chilling. So that gave me so much confidence and momentum. So when I got back home, you naturally go into the same way of thinking as you were before, because you're in the same circumstances, and the situation might be a little different, but it's pretty much the same. So you go home and you're just like sitting in your house and stuff out in the country or whatever, and you're used to your comforts, and life's not very eventful. And so I think it's very easy to get trapped into your same mindset of, doing the comfortable things and avoiding discomfort. And so that's where I was like, it just happened to be at that time, ITV wrote to me and I was like, yeah, all right, I'm gonna do that. And so I went through like 6 stages of interviews, like no intention of like, or no care if I got it or not. It was more or less that they reached out to me and they're like, can you fill in this form? And I was like, yeah. Can you have this call with this person? I was like, yeah. Can you do all this? And I was like, yeah. So when eventually they're like, can you fly out to Spain? And I was like, yeah. So I flew out to Spain. I was out there, and that's what happened. So I did that. And then that was the thing that scared me that year. And then the year after happened to be Dancing with Stars. So that was the thing that scared me last year, and this year starting a new company that I'm investing good money into. So that's the thing that scares me this year. Although I think I
Unbelievable.
get scared than that.
Yeah, wow. So essentially what you're saying there is just feeling the fear, doing it anyway, embracing these challenges. It's led from one thing to the other, whether with the skydive in San Diego, not being afraid to go on live television on Love Island, Dancing with the Stars. Tell me about Dancing with the Stars. How uncomfortable was that for you? Like, did you have any prior dancing experience, Matthew? Or
Yeah, absolutely none. No dancing experience, no performance experience. I told them on the show, which was quite funny, because I had a flashback. And I was like, I just realized the only performance experience I've had is doing a nativity play when I was like 9 years old, and I was the back end off the donkey. I was like under, it's like a donkey. They're pretending to be a donkey, and I was the arse of the donkey. And that was the only performance experience I had. I was so shy, like growing up, and I think I still am. I think I'm like introverted to a certain extent. Like I can talk to people. I enjoy talking to people, and you wouldn't think I was introverted. Jesus, went on reality TV, but that all comes from just developing myself. I don't think I'm naturally like an extrovert. So yeah, doing Dancing with Stars now. I'll say that my previous experiences of the skydiving, the Love Island and stuff, that made my senses of, levels of fear, the borderline like increased sort of. So it wasn't as scary as it would have been. So I don't get me wrong, I was a little bit nervous going out, but I wasn't too bad. But I was looking at other people going out and they were terrified. I was like, I feel like that I would be super afraid, but it was the fact that I already pushed myself and I'm used to going through discomfort over and over again. And that's what really helped me.
yes, yeah. And as someone who's played team sports, Matthew, I sometimes would have had performance anxiety, but I found what worked well for me was just visualization, having a bit of quiet time in the morning before the game or the morning off the game, or even like some gym sessions, I'd set a target of hitting a PR. And what I would do is I'd visualize the lift beforehand. So it's like it's already happened in your mind. You've played it over in your mind. Now it's just happening in reality. Did you have any or practice any form of mindfulness, Matthew, to help you overcome the nerves of performing up on stage in live television?
From that stage, I'll tell you what, I'd say no. But when I was in San Diego, I did a lot of gratitude journaling, and that was the main thing for me. And that got me into a mind space of positivity first. And I'm not sure an optimist, but I feel like I was loving life more so because every day I was waking up and I was doing some sort of gratitude journal. And I did like these mantras and all. And this is all like kind of wishy-washy shite, like, but
I love it. I love
for
all of
me,
this.
yeah, for me it worked, like, and it was just the habit of doing it every single day and saying to yourself, this is my life. This is great. It's literally just pointing out the obvious to your brain. So I'd be like, thankful for my family, or I would actually rephrase that. I say, thank you for my family. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for, being able to lift 100 kg or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. And throughout the day, I would be like, I look at a nice site or something, I just say thank you. And it is wishy-washy bullshit, but it just gets you into the mindset of being positive and being grateful. So literally all your circumstances aren't changing. The only thing that's changing is you're changing your perception of that circumstance. And so perception for me is reality. Perception is your reality. You could look at a problem completely different to what I look at it, because your perception is different because of the mind space you're in, because of your circumstances in life, because of how you're raised, because of numerous factors, because you're bullied when you're like 10 years old, whatever. All that can impact your perspective. So some people look at things in a naturally negative light, and that's a lot to do with their previous experiences and everything that's built into their perspective. So if you can reframe that perspective to be positive, then you've got a competitive advantage on other people and generally just life. It's like a cheat code.
Absolutely, yeah. Something I heard Tony Robbins say before. You cannot be simultaneously grateful and negative at the same time. And just by, I think honestly, just having gratitude and appreciation for the small things, because if you can appreciate the small things, like I just really enjoy a morning coffee, a sunrise walk, maybe a sea swim, a gym session, meeting some friends, having dinner with your family. It's these small things that if you consciously appreciate them, you're just going to be happier and more present in the moment, Matthew. I really like that kind of stoicism approach there. That
Yeah, I agree with that. But saying that, like I'm very like I'm preaching about this because I believe in it, but I haven't been good at practicing it the past while, and I can notice it in myself. So this is kind of a reminder to myself that I need to start doing that again. Start like actually, reviewing my circumstances of life and actually looking at, the thing we were talking about earlier as well. Like, am I going towards my fears as much as I should be? Probably not. Like the idea of starting a business with a lot of capital, like where I'm risking a lot of capital, is scary, but it's scary only to like a certain extent. I feel like I should be doing things that make me uncomfortable. Now, when I say that as well, it doesn't have to be scary and uncomfortable are the same thing, if you know what I mean. They're all under the same bracket. So you could be uncomfortable and just go do a cold shower. That's improving your tolerance and stuff. So basically that's what I'm saying. I'm just like, I should probably take my own advice, like I have done in the previous previous parts of my life, but I haven't been as rigid as implementing as I was then. And I'm looking back onto those points and I'm realizing that I was the most happy I ever was because of those.
Absolutely, yeah. Those daily doing something every single day that puts you out of your comfort zone. A lot to be said for it, and something I know myself I can certainly get better at, Matthew. And tell me, Matthew, a common challenge amongst, I'm not even going to say it's a challenge, but a common thing a lot of people say, and I would have said it in the past too, is I'll be happy when. I'll be happy when I get the six pack. I'll be happy when for me, for instance, I used to be a primary school teacher, taught for 4.5 years. And in my final year of teaching, Matthew, I got to a stage of overwhelm because I would have been doing in-person coaching up until pre-pandemic. During the pandemic, I had to pivot to fully online coaching. Went back to school that September. And it was basically, go to obviously get up in the morning beforehand, like 5 o'clock, do a gym session, go to school, take care of all of that, get home. And then it was like just consultation calls, coaching my clients in the evening. And I got to a stage where it was overwhelmed. And at that time, then I told myself, I'll be happy when I quit the teaching and I'll be a full-time coach. But then, you know what? I had new challenges then when I became a full-time coach, because going on to what you said there about reframing, I was almost overwhelmed then with like just new clients and on board and everything. So I had to reframe that as, you know what, am I grateful? Am I lucky that these people are interested in my services? So I had to hire an assistant coach then. But it's just something that I know myself I've been guilty of in the past and I will be guilty of in the future. But for someone who's saying, I'll be happy when I reach a goal weight, I get a drop, the job, Matthew, and they're focused just only on the outcome, the end results, but not the process. What advice would you give to that individual?
Yeah, well, you said it, like it's literally what you said. You're not gonna be happy until you succeed at something, and then who says you're gonna succeed at something? Like you could try and you might fail, like hopefully you won't, but you'll realize stuff as well. But to be honest, I think that's the most important thing. I can't really explain it why, but you just need to be grateful for the now, because otherwise, like if that goal is, for example, I'll use my circumstance. If I have this goal, if I want to, get this app to market and really like build an amazing business out of that, that could be like realistically probably 1 to 2 years down the line. So I'm not going to be happy for 1 to 2 years of my life. I'm 28 now. Like what? Like I could be guaranteed 28 years and that's it, or I could be guaranteed 90, but that's a significant portion of your life. So realistically, like it's just illogical, where you're literally like waiting for something. So instead, if you can revert back to what I was saying earlier, is the gratitude journal. If you can be grateful for the small things, if you can be grateful for the present. I am an incoherent mind, so I literally go from point to point and just remember stuff in my own brain from when I had it. So I was on Dancing with the Stars, and there was one week in particular I was getting getting mad bad, like I was getting terrible scores the first couple of weeks. I was getting like twos and threes, like by the judges, and I was like, Jesus Christ, I'm not this bad. I'm actually half decent, and you're just like marking me terribly. So I got really pissed off. But also it affects your confidence because you're like, oh God, I have to go out there and they're gonna rinse me again. Like, and so there was one week where I was like feeling all that negative energy and stuff, and I was behind the curtains and stuff, and I just had this realization that this moment's never going to happen again. And it doesn't sound as impactful as it feels. So if you actually think about it, like this moment right here where I'm talking to you is never going to happen again, and it may not be the best moment, it may not be the worst moment, but it's a moment that is happening in your life and is happening in time. And so that's never going to happen again. And so that's the way you have to think about it. So yeah, I can't remember where my mind went, but yeah, that was kind of my point.
And tell me, Matthew, how did you deal with some of that negativity from the judges, or even on Love Island? Did you get any hate off people on the internet and social media? Was there any negative comments thrown your way?
Um, for Love Island, I was very lucky. I was seen as kind of a nice guy on it. I am a nice guy, so I like that came across. But a lot of people don't. They get like the guys really get a tough time in Love Island. Like some of them are douchebags, but a lot of them are really nice guys. But it's just the entertainment business and reality TV. So I wasn't too bad. The way I look at it is everyone has an opinion. So you might think, I've said this example so many times, not you, but a girl over there might think that I'm like the prettiest guy she's ever seen, the most handsome guy she's ever seen. The girl right next to her friend, might think I'm the ugliest guy that she's ever seen. Neither one is correct, but both can have that opinion. So why are you clinging on to either one of those opinions? Like, you know what I mean? That's the way I framed it in my mind, what worked for me. Everyone will have an opinion. Nobody's is entirely correct. So just go with what your morals and what you feel is right.
Perspective. Unreal. Unreal. And Matthew, as someone like yourself who travels a lot, you're in great shape as well. So what are some ways that you've managed to stay in shape while traveling around the world the last while?
For me, it all boils down to the simplicity of lifestyle, really. Like, I will go to the gym when I'm away because I like it, you know. But if you don't like it, if you're away for holidays or something, it's not really going to make a difference, like 1 to 2 weeks. But I like it. You're naturally moving because you're in the heat more. And I just eat a lot of protein. And just protein, like chicken, meats, all the nice foods that you get away, all the healthy organic foods like you get in Europe typically. Not in the States. Their food is terrible. But generally, just eat protein and move. Really dial it down to the simplicity of what gets you in good shape, and it's just moving more, eating good food, and just enjoying yourself.
Unreal. And are you following like any current training program, Matthew, or what's your training currently look like?
My training, I have not been great because I've been just fully focused on this app and stuff. But I do basically the basics of what I'm doing now is I'm trying to emphasize a more aesthetic shape, just creating that V as much as possible. So I'm working a lot on my lats and my delts. So that's literally what I'm doing, focusing on those. And then every Monday, because Laura's, my girlfriend, is on Dancing with the Stars right now, her schedule is not busy. So I said to her, she was like missing the gym. I said to her, right, every Monday we're going to do leg day. So every Monday we do leg day. So my hip thrusts and my bunda is getting big now because all the hip thrusts. But yeah, I do that. Yeah, I get it about 4 or 5 times a week, like not too bad.
Good. Awesome. I
It's
saw you.
not as focused and as rigid as sometimes I like. I feel like if you want to make a massive difference in the shortest window possible, for me anyway, the big thing is just having that rigid, routine or workout routine where you can progressive overload. You're tracking your weights. You got your notepad or your app or whatever the fuck it is, and you track your weights and you improve every week and just do it really methodically. Give everything to every session. Do it for 12 weeks. Really dial in your diet, and I find the difference is mad if you can do that. But it takes a lot. It needs to be the main focus, I feel like, for if you want to make a massive difference in a short time.
Absolutely. Yeah. What do you want to do? What are you willing to do? What won't you do? And sometimes, going all in that intensive approach, it obviously there's so many benefits, but there's an opportunity cost as well. You might not be going out at the weekend. I know you're in Florida for the Christmas, so you might gotta say no to some of the nice foods you're being presented to. There's always an opportunity cost. Do you count your calories around to Matthew, or is it just like mostly real foods, protein at every meal, and just understanding the fundamentals?
Yeah, I'm really dialed back with everything. Like when I'm really trying to get into amazing shape, I'll count my calories, but I dial it back now so I want to do a bulk. And so what I dial that back down to is I need to eat like 5 to 6 meals per day with protein in them. And if you get in around there 5 to 6 meals, then you're going to hit in around your calories. And so that's fine for me. I feel like that's fine for pretty much everybody else. Like just hit your 3 meals or whatever. That equates to roughly around your calories, and you're good to go generally.
Absolutely. And what are some of the favorite gyms that you would have gone to or traveled to, Matthew,
Uh,
over the past couple of years?
Marbella has unbelievable gyms. Like they have,
Yes.
Real Club Pedal is a great gym. Now there's a lot of testosterone heads in there, like, so that was the only. There's a really bougie gym that was like you could see all the supercars and all outside them. I forget what it was called. It was really nice and
Was
thing. It
that
was
Ultimate Performance?
no, it's like it's the IO. That's what it's called.
Oh, the IO. I wasn't there actually. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's lovely. Like it's kind of out of the way, but it's like a wellness spa. It's expensive. Like I think it's like 300 per month or something. But yeah, it's really nice. San Diego's got great gyms as well. San Diego, where I lived, all outdoor gyms like EOS and stuff. And there was the TG, which is like a massive gym, and John Cena and stuff was in there, and different ones like.
Unreal.
Hey, but I swear I seen the biggest guy ever. He was like 7 foot tall, and he looked like the mountain from Game of Thrones, where he just train out of his eyeballs, like. But yeah.
There's something nice, Matthew, about lifting weights in the sun.
Yeah, I do. I think it's brilliant, especially for your health as well, because vitamin D, you're absorbing that vitamin D, and you're getting that energy from the sun and stuff. So, yeah, I believe in it.
Unreal. And tell me so, Matthew, something you're excited about. You're bringing up, you're launching an app this year.
Hopefully this year. Now it's different. It's not real. It's related to health and well-being, but it's not probably going to be. I probably won't release it to like my followers or anything, or just
Yeah.
it's more B2B, company.
Okay.
So I'll be working. I'm working away on that. Hopefully, depend on the app developer's timeline and stuff. We'll see, but yeah, it's very exciting now. There's a lot of work in it, but it's very exciting, very rewarding, and yeah, hopefully by the end of the year I'll have brought it to market. That'd be great.
Yeah. How do you deal with stress, Matthew? Of do you have like set deadlines for yourself, or are you more? I know there's always going to be stress in work, but what are some ways that you found just to even what I find sometimes hard, Matthew, I don't know if you can relate to this, is just winding down at night. Like not bringing your work with you to bed and you're waking up in the middle of the night and the first thing you think of is, something business related, or have you is there any good practice you found that's actually helped you with that? Or is
Yeah,
that even a challenge of yours?
I am very methodical when it comes to writing things down and stuff. So I've got my notes on my laptop. I've got every stage of the build and of the launch to market, all this. I've got everything wrote down step by step with deadlines. So I know exactly what needs
Gotcha.
done. And if I can think of things along the way that need added into this stage, I'll put them in and put a deadline so that I'm not thinking, oh, here's this thing, oh flip, I forgot about that thing. You know what I mean? So it's just all there, and it's kind of like I don't need to think overly about it. I get to use my mind in more creative ways to understand like what problems I'm going to face and just delve deeper into thinking of it. So I think writing things down is the best way to declutter your mind.
100%, 100%. Write out what you're going to do and just hold yourself accountable to it. Absolutely. It's the old way. I know there's a lot of fancy apps out there. I think you can write it down in your notes, but I just think it's a different effect if you just literally get out a pen and paper and put it down there, what exactly you're going to do.
Yeah, I like. I mean, I prefer putting it on my phone or my laptop, but yeah, either whatever works for a person. Like, it's not. There's no right or wrong.
There's no set rule, exactly.
The one thing I do think that is important though is writing a deadline beside it, because
Yes.
otherwise, then you just gotta let it just drag on and then you'll forget about it. So it's literally you have to have that deadline beside it and just be realistic with the deadline, but also be fairly strict with yourself.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Matthew, before we wrap it up, we'll just do a few rapid fire and then we'll call it a day. So, first one, Matthew, what is one new habit you would have implemented in the last year?
One new habit. I'm so bad at these quick fire questions. Let me think. God, I'm so bad. I'm sorry. I'm terrible. I can't think of anything on the spot here.
I suppose gratitude journaling, that's been something. Well, what's a daily non-negotiable for you? So something that regardless of the day of the week, do you have like something that you do every single day?
Yeah, I wake up and I get a shower.
Cold shower, hot shower.
Yeah, a hot shower. I try to get a cold shower the odd time. It's great, like, but I prefer plunge pills. No, I think going to the gym. I don't have daily non-negotiables, but I do have weekly ones. So I'm
Deeply.
like,
Yeah.
I'll have 4 to 5 times to the gym. That's like pretty much non-negotiable. Then I'll aim for 5 to 6 meetings. Then I'll do 30 minutes of research and development for my new company at least. And I wrote down another one, which is I want to post 3 to 5 videos on Instagram or Reels or whatever. So
Yeah.
I will get to that last one. Now I'm starting to get in the rhythm of it. But yeah, the first ones I've done pretty well like this year.
Awesome. Awesome. When you think of the word successful, Matthew, who's the first person that comes to mind?
Oh, from a business point of view, my head just goes to Elon Musk and all those ones, and he's not a very popular name, like, but um,
Class.
yeah, I go to the people that follow what they're interested in and have built something from it and are
Yeah.
not afraid to be themselves. So I think the bravest and the most successful people are the ones who are not afraid to be themselves and not afraid to go out in their own path, and also have like a really really strong um conviction to what they're doing, despite
Awesome.
all society's external feedback.
Class. If you could give advice to your 18-year-old self, Matthew, what's one piece of advice you give him?
I would say move away as soon as possible. Move to another country, live by yourself and talk to as many people. If you can do that, then it's just gonna snowball, and you're just gonna become a better person. You're just gonna become so much more evolved from everybody else. Because I feel like everybody in Ireland where we grew up is quite rural. Like
Yeah.
even the cities are quite rural, like compared to like a lot of like countries and stuff like New York and all those ones. So most of us in Ireland are living in a quite rural, isolated environment where, you've got your house, and then you're not really talking to anybody throughout the day. You're not really talking to that many people. You're not really meeting that many new people every day. And so if you're able to completely take yourself away from that sort of echo chamber of like opinions and stuff that are just going around, then you can get out, develop a new perspective, and really develop yourself, meet new people, and just realize that life's so much bigger than just that internal little
Wow.
thing.
That's awesome, man. That's unbelievable. Okay, final two, Matthew. I really love that one. What do you feel is the most underrated gym exercise that people should do more of?
Lateral raises is 100% the best one. I'll follow that up by rear delt raises and um, single arm cable rows. I think
I'm
those
curious. Yeah,
those three are the best to develop aesthetic physique.
class. Yeah, I lateral raises, rear delt work, and rows. Absolutely no arguing there. Final one, so Matthew, what is one question you wish people asked you more?
Oh, I not one question, but one genre of questions I would say is definitely the mindset stuff, because I think everybody wants to know how to get like, the killer body or whatever, or they want to know how to build a
Mm,
business, and know all this, like, and all that comes down to mindset of the person. Like the most successful people really are the ones that have an amazing mindset before all that stuff. Because like you look at the guys who can like build the worst products possible, like the crappy products, or like take them and they can sell them because of their mindset and the way their positivity and how infectious they are. Like they can sell a dream to people. Now I'm not saying that's a great thing to sell terrible product to people, but I'm saying their mindset
mindset
behind.
behind it. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's something that everybody can take, and if you can do that and really develop your mindset, then you're going to be light years ahead of everybody else.
unreal. Matthew, I really want to thank you for hopping on. I absolutely love your integrated lifestyle fitness approach, and you seem to have like just a lot of things going on in your life that you're not just in one single bucket. It's like you have a lot of variety there, which it seems to be working really well for you, Matthew. And
Yeah.
for anyone listening there, what are 1 to 3 takeaways that you'd like them to implement after hearing you speak?
Yeah, well, that's great. Actually, you know what? I would say the main thing is it depends. It all depends on what your life circumstances are, because it's hard to cover like an entire
Yeah,
population with one. I'm going to guess that there are people that are into fitness or want to get their body in a good place by your listeners and stuff, and want to improve self-improvement. So the place where self-improvement is coming from is your mindset. So that's the number one thing. So if you can try and optimize your mindset, to optimize your perspective on life, then you're going to be so much happier. You're going to be so much more successful than everybody else, because your perception is reality. And if you can see even a negative thing and see that as, here's an opportunity for me to improve, then that's massive. That is massive. Number two is like, depends on your circumstances, but if you can try and experience something new, like where you can go away, live abroad, and even just move out of your house or whatever, and just try to live by yourself and just become a little bit more independent, gain your own mindset. I think that's really beneficial. Third thing, which kind of taps into the first thing, is to go and challenge yourself. Do something that you're afraid of or makes you uncomfortable. And so, as I said, for me, that was heights, then that was Love Island, then I was reality TV with Dancing with the Stars. And yeah, I gotta follow my own advice a little bit more on that one. I've done the business thing this year, but I think I gotta do something bigger again. But I think if you can do that, then that'll develop your confidence. That'll show that these big things that you build up in your mind aren't that big, and you're actually a lot stronger than you think you are.
Nice. Oh, Matthew, this has been amazing, man. Really, really enjoyed our conversation. Love your mindset, love your approach. It's very clear you do a lot of work on yourself every single day. And I know it's been so great talking to you, Matthew. For anyone here who wants to learn a bit more about you, what you offer, Matthew, where's the best place to send them?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me on as well. It's been really, really good. Just my Instagram. I've got TikTok as well, but I'm not that active on it. I would say just at Matthew _McNabb. That's MACNABB. And yeah, I'm trying to post a lot more content now. I'm like, I was slacking at the start of the year, but I just had a little bit of a lot of plates spinning, as you said, and I kind of just needed to clear my head. But yeah, no, thank you very much for the opportunity as well.
I'll post all the links in the show notes. Matthew, thank you so much for hopping on. And for any listener out there who did get value, please tag Matthew at Matthew _McNabb and me at Mac Lifestyle Fitness and IG, and we will reshare it. Matthew, thank you so much. It's been a great conversation. I appreciate your time.
Yep, thank you very much.